po si Joy Dayan Gumatay ng MARINA Strategic Communication Service at isa pong karangalan para sa akin ang maging bahagi ng Maritime Safety Forum 2018. At ngayon nga po, alam ko ang lahat po sa atin dito ay talaga namang excited na sa mga bagong kaalaman na mapupulot po natin at magagamit natin sa ating kanya-kanyang organisasyon at opisina. Partikular po sa pagbibigay solusyon sa mga existing problems and issues na na-encounter po natin when it comes to the performance of our duties in bringing and in uplifting the status of the Philippine maritime industry. At this moment, I would like to request everyone to please stand for our opening prayer and singing of our national anthem. Let us feel the presence of our Lord. Panginoon, we recognize your holy presence in this place, Ama. We know, Lord, that above all, it is you who made this program possible. Salamat, Panginoon, sa effort, sa time, and sa energy na ibinigay ng mga tao sa likod ng Maritime Safety Forum na ito. Panginoon, we lift this forum to you. We pray for productivity. We pray for open minds ng lahat ng tao, Panginoon, na nandirito. And we pray, Panginoon, for harmony and unity for each and every stakeholder, Ama, na nagbigay ng oras para maging bahagi ng diskusyon natin ngayong araw. And Lord, we also pray, Ama, that no matter, Panginoon, kung ano ang maging resulta ng diskusyon dito, Ama, ay magamit namin, Panginoon, in helping, uplifting, Panginoon, the Philippine maritime industry para sa benefit, Ama, ng Philippine economy and para makamit namin, Panginoon, yung ninanais naming pagbabago para sa bansang Pilipinas. Lord, we can never do anything apart from you, Ama. All this, Panginoon, is done all for your greater glory. All this we pray in Jesus' name, amen. Bayang magiliw, handa awit. We may now all be seated. On behalf of the Maritime Industry Authority, we would like to welcome each and every one of us here. Maraming salamat po for giving time and energy. Maraming salamat po for being part and for expressing your support on our Maritime Safety Forum 2018. Para po sa kaalaman ng lahat, ngayong pong buwan ng Setyembre ay ipinagdiriwang natin ang Maritime and Archipelagic Nation Awareness Month o mas kilala po bilang MANAMO. Idineklara po ito ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte noong nakaraang taon dahil nakikita niya yung kahalagahan ng public awareness and yung advocacy po ng Philippine maritime sector na maipagbigay alam sa publiko kung ano nga pa talaga yung naitutulong ng ating sektor, partikular sa pagpapaunlad ng ating national economy. Para po sa karagdagang impormasyon hinggil sa MANAMO, panoorin po natin ang audiovisual presentation na ito.
Bilang isang Pilipino, ano nga bang masasabi mo hinggil sa maritime history ng Pilipinas? Madali mo bang maipapaliwanag ang pagkakakilanlan ng bansa bilang isang maritime nation? Kung hindi pa malinaw ang mga bagay na ito, may magandang balita ako para sa iyo. Noong 2017, idineklara ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte ang buwan ng Setyembre bilang Maritime and Archipelagic Nation Awareness Month o MANAMO. Layo ng selebrasyong itong palawakin ang kamalayan ng mga Pilipino tungkol sa maritime and archipelagic features ng Pilipinas bilang isang maritime domain. Naniniwala kasi si Pangulong Duterte na sa pagbubukas ng isipan hinggil sa kahalagahan ng maritime industry ay may hikayat ang publiko na makibahagi sa pagbuo ng ating pambansang pagkakakilanlan bilang isang maritime and archipelagic nation. Ngayong 2018, nakasentro ang tema ng MANAMO sa pagbabalik tanaw sa kultura at kasaysayan ng maritime ng Pilipinas. Kaya naman sama-sama nating balikan ang magaganda at produktibong karanasan ng Pilipinas bilang isang maritime nation at mula rito ay hikayatin ng bawat isa na isa puso ang kahalagahan ng larangang ito.
Responsibilidad po ng bawat isa sa atin na nandito bilang bahagi ng maritime industry na in our own little ways, in the very little things that we can do, we can promote sa atin pong mga kakilala, sa ating bahagi po ng ating reach, kung ano nga ba talaga yung naitutulong ng ating industriya, particularly in our national economy. Hindi po kailangang ipaintindi sa kanila yung mga technical aspects on maritime industry, but for them to know how this sector impact their lives. And I know in our own organizations, meron po tayong kanya-kanyang kontribusyon. And we hope and pray that this particular forum will be an avenue for us to find a harmony and a sense of unity para po sa paglabas po natin sa lugar na ito ay mai-apply po natin at talagang makita natin kung papaano po natin masusustain yung achievements ng ating maritime industry ngayon under the Duterte administration and for us to know what we can do more to surpass whatever achievements we made. And for us to formally welcome po yung ating mga guests and especially yung ating mga VIPs na naglaan ng oras at panahon para maging bahagi at magbahagi po ng mahalagang impormasyon sa atin, let us all welcome with a warm applause our MARINA Administrator, Ray Leonardo Guerrero.
Thank you, Joy. To our guest, His Excellency Carlos Salinas, the IMO Maritime Ambassador, Madam Doris Magsaysay Ho, President of Magsaysay Maritime Corporation, Captain Ronald Enrile, representing Congressman Jose List, my colleagues in MARINA, partners in the private sector, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Allow me first to convey MARINA's sincerest appreciation for your generous acceptance to our invitation. Your attendance and participation in the exchange of ideas in our Maritime Safety Forum will provide invaluable inputs to our nationwide observance of the Maritime and Archipelagic Nation Awareness Month, or MANAMO, and the National Maritime Week, both of which are celebrated in the month of September of each year. We therefore consider your presence today as an expression of your support to our relevant efforts and initiatives to enhance and improve our maritime safety environment, taking into consideration our high dependence of our maritime transportation system in bridging the islands of the archipelago and in sustaining the economic activities of our people. The MARINA has always given utmost importance to issues of maritime safety in its work, as MARINA remains committed and faithful in the implementation of its duties and responsibilities within the context of its legal mandates. This is the primary reason why we have chosen the theme, Kaligtasan at Kaunlaran ng Paglalayag Tungo sa Isang Bansang Matatag for this month. Ladies and gentlemen, Typhoon Mangkut recently devastated the country in a way too familiar. It put at risk lives of millions of Filipinos in northern Luzon, destroyed billions worth of agricultural and residential properties, left dead more than 80 of our countrymen, and stranded hundreds of passengers. About 20 typhoons visit the Philippines annually, and with other natural calamities wreaking havoc in the archipelago. This should serve and offer us in the industry lifelong lessons about the vulnerabilities of our transportation structure, including the state of our ports and ships. Accidents like disasters are never planned, never wanted, but their ill effects can be mitigated. Preparation is key in any undertaking, and chance favors only the prepared. We could not stress enough the importance of safety, as maritime accidents in the Philippines remain a challenge for all of us. Now is the time to put the spotlight back on maritime safety. To proactively respond to the consequences of these natural calamities and on our maritime transportation systems, the MARINA has embarked on a series of maritime safety-related initiatives with the aim of improving the safety of our ships and their passengers through effective information dissemination, quality training and education, strict monitoring and enforcement of policies and regulations, and close interagency coordination. The holding of this Maritime Safety Forum is one such way of bringing together our maritime stakeholders to exchange views on how we can all work together in sustaining the gains that we have achieved in the area of maritime safety. For today's activity, we have lined up notable speakers who will talk about the government's legislative agenda on maritime safety, the IMO and maritime safety, the status of the Philippines' compliance to the EMSA audit findings, the Marina Action Plan on maritime safety, and shipping and the blue economy. Our role then becomes apparent, and it is to promote a culture of safety awareness. The spirit of this forum arises from that role. As the primary actors responsible for promoting and developing the maritime industry, we should all be mindful of the things that we need to do and must do to ensure that our country remains a key player in international shipping. Our forum this morning is an indicator of how we intend to stay ahead of the game. Over time, we have continuously identified and assessed areas of possible cooperation. But now we play an active role in empowering various relevant sectors as we aim to harmonize our efforts towards a safe, secure, and sustainable maritime industry. Therefore, allow me to thank our distinguished resource speakers who will be sharing their wisdom with us today. I urge that our participants make the most of this opportunity so that we may succeed in achieving the objectives of this Maritime Safety Forum. Finally, on behalf of the men and women of the Maritime Industry Authority, I welcome all of you to this forum. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
The time to put on spotlight maritime safety is now. That's why we're having this Maritime Safety Forum. And we encourage everyone to actively participate and share your thoughts so that we will all get out of this place full of productive insights on how we will improve our service to the Philippine maritime sector. At this moment, we would like to request our VIPs with Administrator Guerrero for a photo opportunity here on stage. We would like to request Administrator Guerrero to be accompanied by Congressman Jesulito Zes Manalo, His Excellency Carlos Salinas, Ms. Doris Teresa Magsaysay-Ho, and of course, Vice Admiral Narciso Vingson Jr., together with Deputy Administrator Net Dinopol. To our VIPs, please remain on stage as we call on our government agency representatives. Please proceed here on stage for a photo opportunity with our maritime VIPs. Again, to our government agency representatives, please proceed here on stage for a photo opportunity with our maritime VIPs. To our VIPs, please occupy our sofa for a formal photo opportunity. Yes po. Sir, kasi- To our VIPs, please take a seat po on our sofa as we continue with our photo opportunity. First off with our government sector representatives, specifically from the Maritime Industry Authority. Ano daw? Ay, si Miss Doris. And finally, we would like to call on stage our private sector partners. To our private sector partners, please proceed on stage for a photo opportunity with our VIPs. Thank you. Yes, sir. Again, to our private sector, ayan, sobrang dami po natin. It's going to be a huge photo opportunity. We'll occupy the entire stage. We can just see and feel how the support coming from our private sector, specifically in lifting up our maritime industry. I don't think there's anything that we cannot do with their support, all available and extending for specifically to assist the Marina in the performance of its mission in transforming the Philippines into a major maritime nation. And for our last post po request from the media, the Duterte fist daw. Maybe you can do, let's do the Duterte fist request from our media. Last photo po, last photo op. Ayan, and let's do po the Duterte fist. Thank you so much. Request from our media friends. All right, thank you so much. Maraming salamat po for participating sa ating photo opportunity. We may now take a seat as we formally start our Maritime Safety Forum. At this point, we will be formally beginning our Maritime Safety Forum. We prepared for you 4 invaluable and notable speakers to share with us about the legislative agenda of the Duterte administration on maritime safety, our initiatives in achieving maritime safety in the international arena, the status of our shipping industry, and the Philippine compliance on the European Maritime Safety Agency, or the EMSA. Without further ado, I would like to first introduce our speaker. Our first speaker is the very first representative of the Philippine maritime industry in the Congress. He formed the ANCLA, or the Ang Partido ng Pilipinong Marino, in 2011, which is an organization that seeks to protect seafarers' rights and to institute relevant reforms in the seafaring industry. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to welcome on stage Congressman Jesulito Jess Manalo. Let us give him a warm of applause. So we just received that information that our congressman is going to be represented by Captain Enrile. Let us welcome on stage Captain Enrile.
Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Unfortunately, Congressman Manalo cannot be here with us today because he's in Congress attending budget hearings, which is very important. So I was tasked to read his message. But first of all, I'd like to thank MARINA for inviting us to share with you what ANCLA has done in the last 2 Congress. A novelist once wrote, "He who lets the sea lull him into a sense of security is in a very grave danger." And in an archipelago like ours, we have the sea is 7 times the size of our land area. And in the only thing connecting our more than 7,000 islands, we should be ever vigilant. More than 4 million passengers ply our seas annually, and nearly all domestic trade flows still employ water transport. And so, it is only proper that our theme for Maritime Week 2018 is ligtas at maunlad na paglalayag para sa matatag na Pilipinas. This is also why maritime safety is on top of ANCLA's legislative agenda for a truly maritime Philippines. In crafting our legislative agenda, we look at a holistic approach because we believe a maritime safety policy should be integrated to the successful beginning from ship design and construction to regular inspection and certification of seaworthiness to crew qualification and minimum manning requirements. We began by strengthening MARINA, the shipping industry's regulatory agency, through Republic Act 100635. We created the STCW office to ensure the highest standards of training, certification, and watchkeeping for all our seafarers. We also provide new buildings to enhance MARINA's ability to conduct its affair. So we were able to secure fund allocation to build the main building of MARINA, the regional offices in Cebu, Iloilo, and Bacolod. Just recently, we have also filed House Bill 7716, exempting MARINA from the salary standardization law. We want MARINA to be able to hire the best from the industry and entice them to stay in the Philippines to strengthen the maritime sector and improve maritime safety. Second, we passed House Bill 10698 to modernize and further professionalize the practice of naval architecture in the Philippines. In addition to strengthening the regulation of naval architecture, this law mandated an integrated and accredited professional organization for naval architects, as well as continuing professional development program. The Society of Naval Architects and Marine Engineers was subsequently recognized as the accredited professional organization and was given a seat on the board of MARINA. This was essential to maritime safety, not only because naval architects design and build our vessels, but also because they survey and certify a vessel's seaworthiness. On a related note, we have also been pushing for the acquisition of a towing tank to improve the design and seaworthiness of Filipino-designed vessels. It is unacceptable that the Philippines, despite being the fourth largest shipbuilder in the world, has no towing tank. This towing tank will allow Filipino ship designers to test the stability and safety of new designs in various situations and will elevate the level of innovation and safety in the Philippine shipbuilding industry. Third, we're working to pass House Bill 456 into law. House Bill 456 will be the implementing legislation for the enforcement of international maritime instruments in the Philippines, including the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, as well as the International Convention on Load Lines. This bill will ensure our domestic fleet will be at par with international standards of safety and a step closer to becoming globally competitive. The House Committee on Transportation has already approved this bill and is scheduled for second reading once the budget deliberations are terminated. Fourth, we're also trying to pass House Bill 460, creating a single classification society system in the Philippines. This will place us on the same level of other leading maritime nations. This bill, once passed, will prevent situation where errant ship owners obtain a certification that their vessel is seaworthy simply by threatening to bring their business to any of the other 6 classification societies. The principal concern of a classification society should be safety and not profitability. Similarly, this bill has been approved by the House Committee on Transportation and should be scheduled for second reading once budget deliberations are terminated. Ladies and gentlemen, this is UNCLA's legislative agenda for maritime safety. We would like to take this time to ask for everyone's support for the passage of House Bills 7716, 456, and 460. In order to further improve maritime safety in the Philippines, legislation is not a one-man job. Let us work together to create a world-class fleet of Philippine-built vessels compliant with international safety standards. and manned by globally competitive maritime professionals. The life of a Filipino is worth the same as many other lives, and we deserve the highest standards of safety applied throughout the world. On behalf of Congressman Manalo and Angkla, we hope everyone has a blessed Maritime Week. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much, Captain Enrile. And a good thing that struck me on what he said, legislation is not a one-man job. And this forum is a great avenue for us to achieve the sense of harmony and cooperation so that we can put all legislations in place to fully experience the change that we want to achieve in the Philippine maritime industry. Our second speaker is as notable as our first, is known for his service and dedication to the maritime industry through his professional career. His vision for the promotion of Filipino marine professionals, and his continued efforts to sustain the country's position of leadership in the global industry. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a warm of applause to His Excellency Carlos Salinas, IMO Ambassador for Maritime.
Administrator, General Ray Leonardo Guerrero, Vice Admiral Narciso Vingson, Captain Ronald Enrile, representing Congressman Manalo, Ms. Doris Magsaysay-Ho of the Magsaysay Group, friends in the industry, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is a pleasure to be here with you today at this Maritime Safety Forum, organized by the Maritime Industry Authority. I wish to thank the administrator for giving me this opportunity to share some thoughts on the critical importance of maritime safety as we celebrate Maritime Week 2018. The International Maritime Organization, let's think, many of you already know this, but just to put it in perspective again, consider that of all the industries that abound around the world, shipping is without doubt the most international in terms of structure. Why do I say that? A ship owner is from country A. The ship is registered in country B. The ship manager is in country C. Its crew, a representation of the 174 member countries that make up the IMO. And the ship travels the globe, carrying important cargo from one port to the next, country by country, region by region, 365 days a year. We talk about maritime safety, but we talk many times referring to maritime safety when it involves the ship, the people working or transiting on board, and the cargo carried is always at the forefront of discussions at the International Maritime Organization, or otherwise known as the IMO, which is a specialized agency of the United Nations, which acts as the principal standard-setting body for the shipping industry worldwide. In this regard, IMO's primary purpose is to develop and maintain a comprehensive regulatory framework for shipping, which includes maritime safety, maritime security, legal matters, technical cooperation, the facilitation of maritime traffic, and now more than ever, the protection of our maritime environment, and thus the equal need to ensure clean seas. It is not surprising then that shipping as an industry is in many respects considered the indispensable industry to the world, unquote. When you think that the food on our tables, the clothes on our backs, the fuel that generates power and runs our transport sector, and many other facets of life are made possible only, and only can be made possible through shipping. How can we not therefore be proud of what this industry is able to do for humanity? And yet, it is an industry equally subjected to various forces that can easily undermine its role. The reality is that shipping operates in a very harsh environment, operating over vast, unfriendly, often intimidating oceans, complicated by ever-changing weather patterns, and therefore there is a premium placed on the ability for the shipping industry as a whole to overcome vulnerabilities that could otherwise severely impact the global trade and supply chain. And this is where the subject of maritime safety gets its cue. The best way to ensure safety at sea is by developing and enforcing appropriate and applicable regulations, not only internationally, the global commitments agreed to by member states at bodies like the IMO, but also domestically, where national laws that regulate shipping operations in our waters and waterways should similarly reflect the highest levels of standards. Only through this mirroring of rules, domestic and international, can a true level playing field be developed in which this industry and its players can efficiently compete and operate. Over the years, the IMO has established and adopted various international conventions or rules of the road, today numbering 59 altogether, which include conventions for the safety life at sea, control of pollutions, collision regulations, global standards for seafarers, as well as other international instruments relating to maritime search and rescue, the facilitation of international maritime traffic, load lines, the carriage of dangerous goods, tonnage measurement of ships, and more recently, the safe recycling of ships, to name a few only. Of the 59 conventions, the Philippines has ratified 26. Overseeing the technical work involved in formulating safety standards is the Maritime Safety Committee of the IMO, which serves as IMO's senior technical body on safety-related matters. Given the vastness and complex nature of IMO's work, the MSC is aided by several subcommittees in carrying out its mandates. Some of them: ship design and construction, carriage of cargoes and containers, human element, training and watchkeeping, ship systems and equipment, navigation, communication, search and rescue, pollution prevention and response, implementation, and I repeat, implementation of IMO instruments. As you can see, the coverage is very, very wide, and there is a lot of work involved. When it comes to maritime safety, let us not kid ourselves. Maritime safety are not words that can be used loosely. Maritime safety means so much to the world. And it isn't going to get any easier as the public demands more accountability from service providers, and governments, and I repeat, governments are compelled to implement more stringent safety regulations which impact on the ability of private companies as they strive to operate more efficiently. The introduction, for instance, of ballast water systems, a controversial convention that has come into force recently, is a good example of how difficult the discussions have become between private sector and governments. Another major regulation just around the corner is the implementation of the ever lower sulfur fuel content, part of a global-wide effort to counteract green gas emissions. How will we address and implement all these challenges effectively remains a challenge for both government and industry stakeholders. Now, the Philippine perspective. Relative to our own situation in the Philippines, maritime safety is a matter of equal concern, not only from the government's perspective, but from all industry stakeholders as well as all the riding public. We must continually strive to provide a shipping platform that is reliable, safe, and fully attuned to delivering a public service that we can all be very proud of. The Philippines is endowed with ocean space far larger than the size of its landmass. It is gifted with valuable ocean resources, which, if properly harnessed, can boost the country's economic productivity. It also stands at the crossroads of two main ocean highways and is connected by many national seas, which play a very significant role in world trade. The two highways, meaning the Pacific and the Indian Ocean, and the nautical highways, we have like the West Philippine Sea, Sea of Celebes, Sulu Sea, and others. Harking back to the famous galleon trade of the 16th century, the Philippines started off as a major transshipment point for goods from mainland Asia to markets to the Americas and to Europe. This was a very significant period in our country when Philippine shipping started. We were the transshipment hub of the world. Goods were coming from Japan, India, Australia, Moluccas. Everything was converged in the Philippines, loaded in one galleon, the galleon traversing the Pacific, landing in Acapulco, and all that cargo being unloaded and loaded into mules, into the port of Veracruz, and from there loaded into another galleon to go to Europe. As an archipelago, inter-island shipping is naturally a very critical mode of transport for the country. On the other hand, international shipping is equally as important. If we were to sell to other countries what we produce in surplus and buy what we cannot produce, the advent of a more integrated ASEAN with a population of over 600 million has opened up tremendous opportunities to expand intranational trade and facilitate the movements of goods and people, including tourists who are flocking more and more to this part of the world. In all this, maritime safety and the protection of the marine environment are very vital to the potential for Philippine growth. The IMO has a very clear framework for the safety of shipping and the protection of the marine environment. As an important council member of the IMO, the Philippines has an equally important obligation to ensure, and I repeat, to ensure that such a framework is also securely in place internally for the guidance and benefit of all its stakeholders. In short, we, as a signatory, must adopt and comply with our responsibilities as a council member. And I say that with no compromises. If IMO's mission is to ensure safe, secure, and efficient shipping on clean seas, can our own mission in the Philippines be different? How can we be different than the international organization from which we receive the rules and regulations? Delivering on such a mission will be achieved through a framework of standards that operate on 3 levels. Very important 3 levels. 1, developing a mindset of prevention. 2, it seeks to address the safety and security of shipping operations. And lastly, creating the capability for immediate and effective mitigation, which seeks to moderate the effects of an accident if the preventive measures fail. And finally, the capacity for proper compensation, which seeks to reinstate what has been damaged or lost because of an accident. The most important element in this framework is prevention. Prevention is the key and substantial word here. And there are many IMO conventions that address prevention. The most important of these conventions is the Safety of Life at Sea, or the SOLAS Convention. This instrument covers different aspects of the ship as an asset, from the safe construction to safe operation to the security of persons on board. I should like to highlight, however, that the safety of shipping is not only limited to the construction of ships and its appliances. It includes safe management of the ship, and more particularly, and pardon me for repeating, and more particularly, the skill and competence of the crew. That is absolutely non-negotiable. The human element in shipping, or shipping's software, as we call it, is necessary if we are to ensure a safe operational environment for shipping on clean seas. While the International Safety Management, or ISM code, is key to ensuring the safe operation and management of ships, the STCW Convention, and all of us know the word STCW is being used so much nowadays. That convention, on the other hand, is the key instrument which guides the training and assessment standards for seafarers. Nothing else but that. And we, as a signatory, cannot compromise, cannot negotiate, cannot create our own, because this is the international standard. Through the past 4 decades, the Philippines has evolved to become one of the largest suppliers of global maritime professionals to the world. Over the years, as more developed maritime countries experience economic prosperity, as well as dwindling populations, alternative employment options to those countries became more attractive. As a result, seafaring as a profession in such countries ended up taking a back seat. This provided a very strong opening for the Philippines to enter professionals. Filipinos were originally sought out because of the potential for ship owners to operate more economically. However, today, with equalization of proficiency and competency standards through the STCW Convention, many ship owners continue to seek out Filipinos, in particular, not just because of economics, but because of the competence, dedication, professionalism, service orientation, and ability to communicate in English by the Filipinos. In order to not only maintain but expand the global preference for Filipino maritime professionals, it is imperative for us as a country to ensure compliance with international standards and regulations, such as, again, I might sound like a broken record, but we must comply with international standards such as the STCW Convention is strictly and uncompromisingly. I am very proud to say that in 2 years from now, we will celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Manila Amendments of IMO that was held in the Philippines. The very first time amendments to the convention were held outside of London. And I'm proud as a Filipino to say that they were held at the Westin Plaza, and we were part of that. And we celebrate this 2 years from now. A statistic that we regularly come across is that at least 80% of all accidents on board are directly attributable to human error. No matter all the technology can flood a ship, but still the human element is there. This being the case, the consistent demonstration of competence, dedication, and professionalism by our seafarers is critical to ensuring a higher degree of safety on board. And this is where quality, education, and training are a must in capital letters. No compromise, my friends. While we see our educational institutions churning out seafarers each and every school year, the first question as ship operators we ask during the selection process is this young person ready for the job? That's the first question that comes to our mind. Is this person, young person, 20, 21 years old, is he job ready for the kind of job that is going to be demanded from him? Through the years, we have come to see the academic knowledge is not enough. In the past, SCCW was academic, fine. And we said it's not enough. Today, skills is very essential. And if skills is mixed with academic knowledges, are good to have. But these are only two ingredients mingled with the right values and attitude. Let's think of a triangle, my friends. On one side is education. On the other side is skills. But we need something to close the three ends, three corners of the triangle. And that is attitudes and values. sharpened by training in leadership and safety consciousness, is really, again, the only way forward towards true competence and quality seafaring. Let me take a page from the aviation playbook, which focuses so heavily on training. Notice how pilots check and recheck every aspect of the plane's operation before takeoff, during flight, especially when turbulence kicks in, and prior to landing. And that is only the surface. The recertification program for aviation's professionals is done every 6 months, while that of shipping is done only every 5 years. There may well be important lessons learned in this regard, comparing traditions and procedures in both industries. We can never do enough to ensure safety, and safety must never, never, ever be compromised. Safe operations must be an attitude, a way of life on board. There is a Chinese proverb that says, if your vision is for a year, plant wheat. If your vision is for 10 years, plant a tree. If your vision is for a lifetime, plant people. I repeat, if our vision is only limited to 1 year, we plant wheat. 1 year it grows. If our vision is 10 years, we plant a tree. A tree takes 10 years. But if our vision is our lifetime, the lifetime, we plant people, because they are the seeds and the success of the future. In order to maintain our country's position of leadership in global maritime manpower and to ensure sustainable and safe shipping on closed oceans, we must continuously invest in the development of people. As an IMO Maritime Ambassador, tasked to uplift the image and importance of global shipping, I believe that it is never too early to start. I've pushed for the development with the Department of Education for Sea Mariners and Maritime High School program for the youth, in cooperation with the Department of Education, to provide a platform for the development of the next generations of Filipinos through early maritime education, exposure, appreciation, community awareness, and even basic emergency preparedness, while instilling in them the values of protecting and conserving environment. Through this effort, the youth are introduced to their responsibilities as stewards and citizens of our community and our nation, as they are steered towards a promising future at sea. In colleges, I've pushed for the proficiency of math, science, and engineering, as the world today and tomorrow and continuing on will be dominated by technology that will change the concept of work, undoubtedly the nature of the jobs on board. Such an approach is also instilled in the training and continuous professional development of our maritime professionals to ensure that our programs sharpen their competence and ability to adapt to very rapid changes in the industry amid higher demand for quality and performance. Underlying the essence of these programs is to build character in our Filipino global maritime professionals. Character is another very important aspect in developing professionals. It is to imbibe in them, I repeat, it is to imbibe in them that good enough is not good enough. I repeat, good enough is not good enough. Good enough is only the beginning of better. We cannot have attitudes, oh, I do my work, good enough. No. It is what we do is good, but we must do better. We must learn more. We must adapt more. That is to be good enough. The aspiration to inculcate a mindset that perfect practice makes perfect across all ranks, ratings, and officers, because this conviction will only further enhance the Filipino as a seafarer of choice to the world. Anecdotally, we are already there, but adding this dimension to our DNA will be a way to take us closer to enhancing maritime safety consciousness in order to live out the IMO vision of safe, efficient, secure shipping on clean seas. And so, my friends, probably you're bored by now. To conclude, the maritime industry is important to us as a nation. Thank you. The maritime industry is important to us as a nation and as well globally. It is important to the world because it is an enabler of global trade. Keeping our shipping and our oceans safe and clean are vital to the industry's sustainability, both internationally and domestically. We must recognize at all times and accept at all times that while shipping is an essential element to local and global trade, it operates in a very challenging environment. And what do I mean by that? Given that shipping is subject to the weaknesses of human nature, the vagaries of the weather, and the conditions of the seas, it is important for each one of us to do our part in supporting the continued enhancement of a global framework for safe and secure shipping and marine environmental protection. With our strong interests as a maritime nation, a meaningful contribution to maritime safety is ensuring that we must invest in our people and train them to become the best in what they do so that they are able to play their part in ensuring that shipping is itself kept safe. Under the administration of our President Rodrigo Duterte, and also implementations by the Secretary of Transportation, Secretary Tugade, and the leadership of our dear Administrator, Ray Guerrero, I don't only believe, I am convinced that we are on the right path to achieve all these goals. But it is a journey. It cannot be done in a day, in a month, 6 months. It is a journey, one of which requires the concerted and continued steadfast help and support of all industry stakeholders. This is not an endeavor that will say, it's just the government, pahalang gobyerno. This is a joint project between government and stakeholders. Let us not be divided on this topic. Let us unite behind this common vision and show to the world that the Filipino can and will always be the seafarer of choice. And so let me end. by encouraging each and every one of you to plant seeds of the future, to nourish ceaselessly, to provide opportunities to carry on our nation's legacy as the leading provider of quality global maritime professionals. In so doing, our industry can continue to move people, move lives, and move the world safely, securely, and on clean seas. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your invaluable presentation, Ambassador Salinas. And a good point that was mentioned by Ambassador, maritime safety is something that we should not take loosely. But a factor of which, in order for us to achieve it, is by being uncompromising and strict in our compliance with different international standards, such as the STCW Convention. Because in the words of our ambassador, by investing in our people, we are building a future of professional Filipino seafarers who are really competitive and really does excel in the international arena. So let us continue with our next speaker to present to us about the shipping industry. Our next speaker believes that the quality of seafarers is paramount to the protection of vessels and cargoes, and ultimately to the ability of a ship owner to compete with the rest of the world. As the head of various shipping companies and organizations, such as the Philippine Inter-Island Shipping Association and the Lorenzo Shipping, our next speaker has been recognized by prestigious award-giving bodies for her outstanding contribution in the shipping industry. I'm very honored to present to you our third speaker, Ms. Doris Teresa Magsaysay Ho, the President and CEO of the Magsaysay Maritime Corporation. Let us give her a warm applause.
Administrator Guerrero, Vice Admiral Bingson, Captain Enrile, Ambassador Charlie Salinas, friends from the Marina, friends in the industry, friends in the media. Good morning. My name is Dino Diaz. Ms. Doris Ho would like to thank the Marina for this opportunity to present the Maritime Philippines project being deployed by all associations. And she asked me to speak on her behalf this morning because unfortunately she lost her voice. Today, we have a chance to present a vision for how the Philippines, maritime nation, can contribute more strategically to President Duterte's 10-point economic plan. Administrator Guerrero said we must actively work together to build the maritime industry here as a sustainable and key driver of our economy. Over the past 40 years, the Philippines has developed important parts of a maritime ecosystem. Which should now be looked upon as a potential strategic driver, a maritime Philippine strategy. Here are some examples of how other maritime countries have their strategic plans, how they think, and how they compete. For example, Denmark. Denmark is a strong maritime nation known for its dedication to quality shipping and high standards for safety, health, and environmental protection. They have a maritime cluster, so they call themselves Blue Denmark. Next slide. Sorry for the technical glitch. So dapat dito, up, each down. Dito dapat. Indonesia, Joko Widodo's Poros Maritime Dunia, or Maritime Dunia, calls Indonesians to work together to develop Indonesia as a global maritime axis, a global civilization hub. Maritime Singapore. Maritime Singapore is home to more than 130 international shipping groups, not only in the traditional container, bulk, and tanker sectors, but also in the offshore and LNG markets. We must look upon these seeds to compete. Maritime Philippines would build upon a cluster of sectors that have grown independently and that should be strategically planned and meticulously executed to inspire a new vision for the country. These sectors are the domestic shipping sector, the shipbuilding sector, the ship repair sector, seafaring sector, training and education, human resources, and manning sectors, technical services and other sectors, and international ship registry sector. Shipping that serves domestic trade needs services that provide access to markets, services for the movement of people, services that give access for travel and tourism. Shipping that serves import and export markets within the region and outside, contributing to ASEAN connectivity. We need a Philippine National Registry that is competitive in all ways and that gives trust around the rule of law, including mortgages and other important factors. The domestic shipping industry serves the transportation of products and raw materials on container ships, tankers carrying liquid products, ro-ros carrying passengers and trucks, barges and LCTs carrying raw materials and goods for hard-to-reach areas. The domestic shipping industry can be requisitioned by government in times of war and natural disasters, as was the case during Yolanda. The domestic shipping sector stakeholders are the seed for expansion into international shipping with the vision to provide services to the region and the world. Shipbuilding and ship repair is now a far fourth largest in the world and can grow if strategically supported. One weakness of the Philippines as a destination for ship repair is the lack of cargoes to and from the country. The sector has a vast manpower workforce. Filipino seafarers comprise over 30% of the world's fleet of 1 million men and women and contribute over $5 billion in annual remittances. A robust industry sector of training and education has emerged. In addition, outsourcing services such as human resource management, crewing, and marine, technical, safety, quality management of vessels, and other outsourcing services like insurance, claims, surveys, legal, technology, services, and others. With these services, Maritime Philippines should be promoted with focus not only after the private and government sectors work together towards a common vision and action plan to make the Philippine maritime industry a key driver for employment and development. I must say that the time has come for all of us to regroup, for government, the private sector, and civil society to come together seriously to plan and develop a new ambitious future. What is the greatest opportunity for over 350,000 seafarers working on the world's fleet? How can we leverage on the accomplishments of the past to build on this amazing talent pool to find employment in a sustainable and world-class maritime center with an ecosystem of flag registry, shipbuilding, ship repair, education and training, and outsourcing services serving global shipping companies. Today, each sector contribution to the GDP is small. What we envision is to add each sector's contribution to GDP together to make Maritime Philippines more visible to policymakers. Colleagues from the MARINA and other sectors, we need everyone to exercise the greatest political will and with focused determination to ensure that our maritime administration governance, especially our oversight over academic institutions, comply with and exceed the standards of education demanded by the global industry and port state authorities. We owe it to the seafarers and their families to protect the standards, credibility, and reputation of the Maritime Philippines brand. We owe it to all of us to ensure a long-term sustainable future for Maritime Philippines that can compete with the MARINA and DOTC putting in the policies to make us the best maritime nation in the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Dino Diaz, for presenting to us the message of Ms. Doris Magsaysay Ho when it comes to the shipping industry. At this point, we will be having our final presentation. So if you already have in mind questions for our presenters, you may already jot your questions down as we will be starting our open forum right after our last presentation on the updates of the Philippines' compliance on the audit findings of the European Maritime Safety Agency, or the EMSA, prepared to us by the Task Force on the European Commission, headed by Samuel Batalla and to be presented to us by Mr. John Ray Calderon. Let us welcome on stage Mr. John Ray Calderon of Task Force European Commission.
His Excellency Ambassador Carlos C. Salinas. I am Ambassador for Maritime, sir. The President and CEO of Magsaysay Maritime Corporation, Ms. Doris Magsaysay ho, ma'am. Marina Administrator General Ray Leonardo V. Guerrero, sir. Marina Deputy Administrator for Operation Engineer Nanet C. Villamor Dinopol, ma'am. STCW Office Executive Director and concurrent OIC Deputy Administrator for Planning, Vice Admiral Narciso A. Vinson Jr., sir. Other officials of Marina and other government agencies present in this event. The Philippine maritime industry representatives and stakeholders. Beloved Filipino seafarers, good morning. On behalf of the STCW office, I am John Ray Calderon, and I am privileged to present before you the updates on the corrective actions and measures that were put in place by the Maritime Administration of the Republic of the Philippines to address the European Commission's findings on its assessment of our maritime education, training, and certification system. These updates include a background on the series of inspections conducted by the EMSA, the objectives set by Marina in connection with the result of the most recent EMSA inspection, which served as the basis of the European Commission's assessment, the concept on how to implement the measures to address the EC findings, the status of actions taken, other Marina efforts, and our way forward. As we may all know, the European Maritime Safety Agency, or EMSA, on behalf of the European Commission, has conducted several inspections of our maritime education, training, and certification system from the year 2006, 2010, 2012, twice in 2013, 2014, and the most recent in March 2017. The said inspections were conducted pursuant to Directive 2008/106 of EC and in accordance with Regulation 1/10 of the STCW Convention 1978 as amended, which provides the requirements and conditions pertaining to the recognition of STCW certificates. After the 2017 inspection, the EMSA report was received by the Philippines in July 2017, and in September of the same year, a voluntary corrective action plan was submitted in response to the issues raised in the said report. 4 months thereafter, or in January 2018, the Philippines received the EC assessment report, and on 27 April 2018, Marina submitted the measures that have been put in place or intended to be put in place as required by EC. The said measures must address 42 shortcomings pointed out by EC in 4 key areas. National provision, where we have 4 shortcomings. The Maritime Administration with 19 shortcomings. Requirements for certification with 4 shortcomings. And the Maritime Education and Training Institution with 15 shortcomings. It is in this regard that Marina has set 2 important objectives that not later than 31 October 2018, MARINA has implemented the corrective actions to fully address the identified shortcomings. And not later than 31 October 2019, MARINA has evidences showing full and complete development and commissioning of the IT system for document management and assessment of competence. All these are geared towards the continuing EU recognition of Philippine STCW certificates. Given the said objectives, the question would be, what will MARINA do to put those objectives into reality? For this purpose, MARINA has embarked on a whole-of-government approach through the issuance and implementation of a comprehensive action plan covering 4 major steps. First, harmonized legislation, which pertains to the issuance of additional legislative measures that are intended to harmonize STCW implementation in the Philippines. Second is interagency cooperation, which will foster stronger collaboration between MARINA and other agencies of government that are involved in STCW implementation. Third, responsive national provisions, or the issuance or amendment of more responsive MARINA circulars for the effective implementation of STCW requirements. And fourth, a comprehensive internal process which refers to significant reform in governance, efficient and effective public service, and ensures that only qualified seafarers shall be certificated in accordance with the STCW Convention. The synchronized and complementing core processes of MARINA STCW Office operates under a quality management system that is certified under ISO standards. Now, the concept of implementation of a whole-of-government approach can be capsulized in 3 phases of implementation. The preparation phase is where MARINA pursues the enactment of legislations, harmonizing the implementation of STCW Convention, proactive interagency cooperation with government agencies concerned, issuance of responsive national provisions to address the audit findings, and develop a comprehensive internal process in accordance with the QMS. This will be followed by the implementation phase from October 2018 to October 2019, where MARINA ensures that all programs are structured and delivered in accordance with the STCW Convention through evaluation and inspection. Implement comprehensive internal processes in accordance with the QMS, conduct regular stakeholders engagement programs and third-party assessment, conduct internal quality audit of CHED and DOH, and pursue the development of IT systems. The assessment phase follows thereafter, and this is where MARINA will review and evaluate the systems, programs, and procedures in the implementation of the STCW Convention, and fully implement the IT systems for document management and assessment of competence. We will now proceed on the status of actions that we have undertaken to address the EC assessment. One of the major actions taken by MARINA is the extensive review and revision of 7 existing national provisions that were pointed out in the EC assessment. Following the timeline of implementation, MARINA has already completed the revision of these circulars. Another major action taken by MARINA is the extensive review, revision, and development of the training standards for refresher course in advanced firefighting, the 4 mandatory training courses for passenger ships engaged in international voyages, and the electrotechnical officer course, which were also completed. Complementary to these actions, is the development of a comprehensive internal processes in accordance with the QMS. This involves a training system consisting of preparation to train, implementation to train, and evaluation of training to measure the standards of performance. These core processes is complemented by the STCW Convention, our existing laws, policies, circulars, as well as administrative, financial, legal, public affairs, and information and communications technology support system, which aims to produce world-class and competent seafarers. Additionally, MARINA has already developed one of the necessary IT support systems for its comprehensive internal processes, which is being referred to as the Surveillance, Accreditation, and Monitoring Information System, or the SAM-IS. This IT system intends to support the processing relating to the evaluation, inspection, monitoring, and surveillance of the METIS to ensure the delivery of structured programs and courses as required by the STCW Convention. It also provides effective control of documents for efficient document management system. As an initial step towards establishing a stronger cooperation with other agencies of government, MARINA has pursued the issuance of a joint memorandum circular which was signed on 10 July 2018 that provides clear guidelines on the joint monitoring of maritime higher education institutions and their BSMT and BSMARI programs. This joint CHED MARINA circular also gave credence to the authority of MARINA as single maritime administration by giving the lead role to the STCW office during monitoring activities towards a more effective monitoring of these programs. Upon effectivity of this joint memorandum circular, the monitoring of maritime HEIs resumed in August 1, 2018. And as of September 15, there were 30 maritime higher education institutions that were already monitored. Based on the graphical presentation, you may notice that 30.92% of the findings represents non-conformances, while 48.47% are observations, 16.41% opportunities for improvement, and 4.2% noteworthy efforts. Accordingly, 8 MHEIs monitored and with 4 or more non-conformities will be subjected to further scrutiny if not recommended for phase out if they fail to address the deficiencies noted within the prescribed period. On the other hand, 15 maritime higher education institutions with less than 4% poor non-conformities will be given warning and limited intake of first-year students. And this may also lead to phasing out if they fail to address the deficiencies noted within the prescribed period. Notably, there are 7 MHEIs without non-conformity. Aside from the said actions taken, MARINA has been pushing and facilitating the issuance of executive order with the Office of the President, which is intended to harmonize STCW implementation between MARINA, CHED, DOH, and the Philippine Coast Guard, ensure stronger MARINA representation in the technical panel for maritime education, and provide a more explicit role and authority of MARINA in the evaluation and inspection of MHEIs and the professional, technical courses and shipboard training components of the BSMT and BSMARI programs. This also include additional mechanism which institute the monitoring of cadets that are undergoing shipboard training on ships calling Philippine ports. This will be done through cooperation between MARINA and the Philippine Coast Guard pursuant to Department Order Number 2018-007, which was issued in March 2018. MARINA has also conducted internal quality audit of CHED. The said executive order will also serve as one of the vital evidences in our next submission to EC to demonstrate that the measures we have put in place to address its assessment findings would be sustainable and fully supported at the highest level of government. We'd like to acknowledge the presence of Yusek Fudan, sir. Other MARINA efforts that were also undertaken is the significant changes in the structure of MARINA. MARINA STCW office now has a new executive director in the person of Vice Admiral Narciso A. Vingson Jr. to fill in the gaps in the organization. MARINA has also submitted the latest updates on these corrective actions and measures to the European Commission on 13 September 2018, which was coursed through the ambassador of the EU delegation to the Philippines, to the Director of Waterborne Transport of the Directorate General for Mobility and Transport, or DG Move, of the European Commission. The Office of the President was also furnished with a copy of these updates through the Secretary of Transportation. After the completion of the task under the preparation phase, MARINA is now ready to pursue the programs in the implementation phase. This will include the implementation of MARINA Integrated Seafarer Management Online System, or MISMO, which will cover the issuance of Seaman's Book, the SAM-IS, the appointment and payment for assessment and certification. MARINA will also continuously work in pursuing the enactment of a legislation that would provide a strong foundation towards the harmonized implementation of STCW Convention in our country through the support and sponsorship of our Honorable Representative Jesolito A. Manalo. MARINA will also pursue the enhancement of examination and assessment standards and procedures, intensive inspection of maritime higher education institutions and training institutions and their program and course offerings, including the assessment centers, and the establishment of MARINA Personnel Training Center. On the other hand, based on the assessment and evaluation of our core processes, we cannot deny that our weakest link is in the evaluation phase. For this purpose, MARINA has opened its doors to receive technical assistance from EU member states, which have manifested their willingness to help us in the area of development of secured management system for assessment, test questions and theoretical examination, simulator scenarios for practical assessment. MARINA is also considering the deployment of some of its permanent personnel for field study or benchmarking activities to observe and learn from best practices of other parties to the STCW Convention regarding maritime education, training, and certification system. These are the EU member states that will serve as our partners in pursuing this endeavor. Likewise, MARINA is also partnering with our local maritime education and training institutions such as the PMMA, PIT, MAAP, NYK, and other reputable maritime higher education institutions like the MOL Magsaysay Maritime Academy. In pursuance of our request for technical assistance, MARINA had a meeting with the ambassadors of the EU partners on September 17, 2018. MARINA has also successfully completed the facilitation of an annual Joint Committee on Maritime Affairs or JCMA meeting with the maritime authorities of the Royal Kingdom of the Netherlands on September 18, 2017. On the same date, the STCW Office Executive Director had also a meeting with the PMMA relative to the technical assistance that can be provided by this government institution to the Maritime Administration. MARINA has also conducted a consultative meeting with the maritime industry stakeholders relative to the proposed revision of the implementing rules and regulations of RA 10635, as well as other existing MARINA circulars pertaining to the imposition of penalties on prohibited acts or offenses committed by the METIS and the seafarers. This was done in September 19, 2018. In this regard, and in the interest of Philippine maritime industry, given the said developments and the strategies way ahead, MARINA is optimistic and committed to ensure the implementation of our corrective actions according to plan, to fully address the identified shortcomings as pointed to us by EMSA, towards the continuing EU recognition of Philippine STCW certificates. With all this in place, carefully executed by our professional and committed team, through the able leadership of our current MARINA administrator, we are confident to address all the issues up to full compliance at the implementation level. Thank you very much, and mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you so much, Sir Calderon, for updating us comprehensively on the status of the Philippines' compliance with the European Maritime Safety Agency, or the EMSA. At this point, we would like to request all our guest speakers to come up here on stage for our open forum. And for our participants, you may now prepare your questions. We have microphones near you, so you may just stand. Say your name, your organization, to whom you're going to address your question, and then state your question. Again, at this point, we would like to request our VIPs to please proceed on stage for our open forum. Thank you. As a review for our 4 presentations earlier, we had Captain Enrile who presented to us about the legislative agenda of the Duterte administration, specifically through Congressman Manalo on maritime safety. We also have updates on the maritime safety advocacies of IMO Ambassador for Maritime, His Excellency Carlos Salinas. Also delivered to us was the updates on our national shipping industry through Mr. Dino Diaz, presenting the message of Ms. Doris Teresa Magsaysay-Ho of the Magsaysay Maritime Corporation. And finally, we had Mr. Calderon, who delivered to us updates on the Philippines' compliance with the EMSA, or the European Maritime Safety Agency. To our participants, we encourage you to actively participate in our discussion as this will be a great avenue for us to exchange thoughts in achieving maritime safety. Thank you. May we have our first question from our audience? Please say your name, your organization, to whom you're addressing your question, and then state your question.
Hi. Good morning po. I'm Lawrence Marsigan from Business Mirror. I'd like to ask Captain Enrile, dun po sa proposal na sinasabi po nagpo-push for the acquisition of a towing tank, kanino po mapupunta? Who's exactly acquiring it? And where will the funds come from? Thank you.
The towing tank, we propose that it should be handled by the National Maritime Polytechnic, which is based in Tacloban, because that is the purpose or the charter of the school is to train. So and the funding will be coming. This is being discussed in the budget hearing, and it will be included in the budget of the Department of Labor, because it is under, NMP is under Department of Labor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Captain Enrile. Yusek Hudan, may we request you, sir, to come up on stage if ever our participants would like to address a question for you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for our first question coming from our media partners today. May we receive questions from our government participants and private sector partners? Yes, sir.
Nelson Ramirez of United Filipino Seafarers. I have so many questions, but before, I would like to recognize this organization for having this kind of forum. I have attended so many maritime forums and also maritime investigation in the Senate hearings. But I hope that with this forum, this will be the last, and this will answer the problems of maritime safety here in this country. We earned the moniker as the capital of the maritime disaster in the world, yet we have the best. We keep on saying that we have the best seafarers in the world. Now, we have to analyze first the root cause of the problem, because we cannot solve any problem if we do not analyze the root cause of the problem. Why there are so many ships? Why do we have so many unseaworthy vessels plying on domestic road? Why do we have so many unseaworthy vessels? It is because of ISM. It is due to ISM. Why do we register vessels that are not supposed to be registered? It is also due to ISM. Why do we have so many substandard maritime schools that cannot comply with the regulations? It is also due to ISM. Why do we have training centers that are still operating, but do not comply the registration? It is due to ISM. The ISM that I am talking of is not the ISM that you have in mind. The ISM that I am talking of is isobre mo. Isobre mo. A case in point. During the first day of Administrator Al Amaro in Marina, may pinuntahan siyang isang opisina. What did he say? Ito ba ang opisina ng mafia? Kasi noong nasa labas pa siya, naparegister siya ng barko. At hindi ma-register kung walang ISM. So nagkaroon ng ISM. Bakit hindi niya nasipa? Kasama rin siya doon. Now, mayroong 4,000 ka-certificates sa Marina na nawala. Hanggang ngayon, hindi pa nakulong yung responsable doon. Paano ma-register ang isang barko dito sa Pilipinas? Second-hand vessel. Pagdating sa Marina, pupunta ka sa legal. Pagkatapos sa isang legal, liligalin ka sa isang legal. Aabot ka ng 3 buwan, yung dugo mo, ubos na. Pero, kung ipadaan mo sa ISM, doon, maaprubahan ka. Pagkatapos dyan, dadalhin yung barko sa shipyard. I-modify. Dagdagan pa ng isang deck. Maaprubahan din ng Marina kasi may ISM. Una, pupunta sila sa waterfront. Sa sunod, sa gabi, pupunta sila sa infinity. At instead of inclining experiment na gagawin sana sa dagat, doon na ginagawa sa infinity. Alam nyo yung patay sindi yung ilaw, doon. Hindi na inclining experiment na nangyayari. Reclining experiment na. Now,
Engineer Nelson, sir, may we ask for your specific question, sir, and please also tell whom you're addressing your question, sir, as we have limited time for the open forum. Thank you, sir.
I am addressing to everybody in Marina. Beforehand, I already said that we have to understand the root cause. So everybody, starting from the administrator, but I know that he has done already so many things in his first 100 days. And even Admiral Bingson, when he wanted that the offenders must be punished, given a perpetual suspension. But I beg Admiral Benson, sa first offense, 1 year suspension lang muna. Saka lang yung perpetual suspension. Kasi kung hindi mangyayari ito, tuloy-tuloy. I will give you an example. Global Maritime Training Center. Biruin mo, yung kanilang basic safety course, 1,900. Tapos may libre pang lunch, may libre pang snack. Ang cost ng basic safety is 5,500. How can you offer it to 1,900?
Yes, sir. Sir, may we ask for your specific question, sir, for Administrator Guerrero or for Vice Admiral Bingson? The specific question, sir. Thank you.
This is not a specific question. My suggestion is we must remove ISM. We must eliminate ISM. That is the main problem why our ships keep on sinking. I challenge anybody here to conduct an inspection immediately. Sa Bataan,
Excuse me, Nelson. I understand you're very passionate about your advocacy. We are as passionate as well, no? Pagdating sa issue ng graft and corruption. Ang question ko lang, you all know that both Admiral Bingson and I are just new sa Marina, no?
That's it, sir.
Ang tanong ko lang, may nakita ka pa bang ISM sa panahon namin ngayon? Meron pa bang nangyayaring ISM? Kasi kung meron man, sabi ko, I'd rather that you give to us yung details para ma-action na namin. You have mentioned already Global Marine. This is the first time I've heard of it.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why Admiral Bingson, a few days back, tried to gather itong ating mga maritime training institutions and directly warn them that should this practice of alpha omega, yung sinasabing ang alpha omega, in fact, ikaw rin nagsabi sa akin ito, if this practice continues, then expect the harsh punishments and penalties to be imposed against these errant training institutions.
That's why we are giving Marina the power. We would like to give the power to Marina to implement this.
And we are implementing this, Nelson. Kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo, sa lahat ng attendees dito, should you have any information, mas maganda na sabihin nyo sa amin para ma-action na natin.
I will send you a text message immediately, sir. We can start it. We can start the inspection and conduct inspection in Batangas. Para makita mo, sir, lahat, I would say lahat ng barko flying dito sa Inter-Island.
Alam mo,
Hindi sumusunod, sir.
Nelson, mahirap sabihin lahat. Maganda pa ibigay mo sa amin lahat yung mga barko, yung mga pangalan na yan, mga kumpanya na yan.
Sir, minsan pinadalhan kita ng USB, no? Tungkol sa reporter's notebook. Nakita namin. Dahil nandoon ako eh. Nandoon ako.
Sige, sige. Walang problema yan. About yung USB, wala akong binigay sa akin. Pero after this, mag-usap tayo.
Binigay ko sa iyo, sir. Na dapat makita mo yon. Yung reporter's notebook.
Kanino mo binigay?
To your secretary, sir.
Walang binigay. Anyway, pag-usapan
Sige,
natin.
sir. Pausapan natin yan, sir.
Thank you so much, Engineer Ramirez.
More questions from our audience. Yes, we have one. Please state your name, organization, to whom you're addressing it, and your question. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Eloy Calimos of Seaway Shipping Digest. To Ma'am Doris Ho, and to His Excellency Ambassador Salinas. First, from Ma'am Doris. Ma'am, there were reports of a decline in deployment last year. And also, there were reports that principals, especially Europeans, have started replacing their Filipinos from seafarers from other seafarer supplying countries. Could you confirm this, ma'am? And to Ambassador Salinas, sir, how secure is our position at the IMO whitelist, given also there were reports that the recent independent evaluation conducted last November was not very good. Thank you, sir.
Eloy, siguro si Ambassador Salinas na lang sasagot kasi walang boses si Ma'am Doris.
You have actually two questions. You're saying, is there a reason why it has been reported that there has been a decline? These figures have to be verified. You know, when we talk of decline, are we talking of shorter contracts? Are we talking of longer contracts? And we know that the shipping industry has gone through a big crisis. We know that many more ships are being scrapped today. So therefore, needless to say, the employment could have been affected. Now, the shipping industry is starting to see light at the end of the tunnel. And therefore, we ourselves are seeing that there's more interest. For instance, as an example, you know that since 2008, the crisis was so bad, almost all exploration stopped. And, you know, there were many Filipinos on oil rigs, and many of them were laid off. So that caused unemployment, shall we say. But now these rigs are being reactivated, and they're starting to train Filipinos again to start boarding. So it is a confluence. It is not that it is a sign, that it's an omen. No. Maybe it's just a little tweak. Now, on your EMSA, I will answer this not as an IMO ambassador, because that's a different thing. But I'll answer it as a Filipino. I am very optimistic about this. I have been involved in this since 2006, when the first audit team came here. I have seen it. I have seen it many and many times over. What has happened now in the last 4 or 5 months, we must consider that when we are trying to change a whole structure, you cannot do it overnight. It takes time, because it does not only involve one particular agency, but it involves the re-engineering of many other agencies. And I can tell you, I'm back from my foreign posting, and I've seen it during these 5 months, that the journey, I refer to it as a journey, has started. It cannot be finished in a week, a month, a year maybe, because MARINA now and DOTC are, you might say, making a complete renovation of everything. It will take time, but the important thing is we have recognized what we failed, and we are doing something about it. And we are showing proof now. I would not say this to you unless I've seen it myself. All these steps that MARINA has done, I have not seen them in the past. That now we are almost there. I will not say we might be there 100%, but we are already there maybe 90%. And there are things that still have to be done. It doesn't mean that by October 31st we're finished, we're out of the woods. No, this is a whole continuing journey, because whatever we do now must be substantiated, must be improved, must be calibrated, as long as there is one objective. So I am very optimistic that the government is doing everything it can. And I will not say I believe, I will say I am convinced that we will achieve our objective.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Salinas. And Sir Eloy, I also have here the answer of Ms. Doris Magsaysay-Ho to your question. She said, we have also heard of our owners seeking other nationalities for lower cost. The challenge on Filipinos is to develop the competence of higher officer positions while the Europeans start to retire. This is why the MARINA is so important to ensure the quality of our schools and the competence of our officers. Thank you so much, Sir Eloy. Now let's have Yes.
This is about the decrease in deployment.
Yes, sir.
I would like to address this question, sir, regarding the decrease of deployment. Perhaps there are not so many of you who realize that because of these ambulance chasers in connivance with the corrupt arbiters and arbitrators, there are so many ship owners that left us. In Ship Sharp alone, there was a case that the tip of the finger was pressed during the overhauling of the piston, and one arbitrator at the National Conciliation and Mediation Board awarded him 12.5 million for that tip of the finger that was pressed. With that, 20 ships immediately was taken out from Ship Sharp, and more than 200 seafarers were displaced. In Ship Sharp alone, they lost already 1,000 seafarers to other nationals, Ship Sharp alone, because of this ambulance chaser. So I am having a meeting with some other mining agency representatives, and if you could send one of your representatives tomorrow at Casino Espanyol, I would welcome it, sir, because I am now gathering all these facts that I have regarding ambulance chasers, because I myself is an arbitrator at the National Conciliation and Mediation Board, and I know that there are so many corrupt arbitrators that their decisions is for sale.
Thank you so much for your thoughts, Engineer Ramirez. Yes, sir.
Good morning. I'm Captain Cecilio Rahon. I'm an active seafarer and also a what's called this one? Part-time instructor and writer of Philippine Migrant Watch. My question to Sir Guerrero is, does MARINA provide memorandum to training centers in case there are new IMO amendments to be enforced or already enforced? And to Ambassador, why is it that the IMO books, instruments are very expensive? Kasi po, hindi ka bilhin ng mga Filipino seafarers. We're supposed to be reading that, but it's quite expensive.
The first question is, do we give a memorandum?
Yes, to training centers, sirs. Because last week, I took my consolidated MARPOL. And then the training centers, the MEPC 27770, it's the new garbage management plant, MARPOL 5, garbage, was enforced last 0 March 2018. And yet, the training center is providing the hands-out 2013 pa. And yet, it's also amended in 2015. Pero ang tinuturo is already outdated. And I'm taking up my upgrading course.
As a Marina, every time we have a new course, no, a new training that is supposed to be conducted, we definitely issue advisory sa mga training institutions natin. So we will just check kung ano yung exactly kung ano yung sinasabi niyo na memorandum order. Pakikuha na lang yan, no? Yung details ng concern so we can address this after this forum.
Thank you so much for your question, sir.
The IMO instrument, sir, is going to lower that one so that the Filipino can read it.
I don't know how to answer that really, but it's something new to me. But are training centers supposed to provide that? I don't know. But nonetheless, I will check on it. But is it part of the library of the training center? Or these are personal books of each student? Or what books?
Are training centers supposed to have their own IMO instrument books in their library, sir?
I suppose so. Just like any college has supposed to have a library. Because that is where the reference of students, that's where students can go and research. There has to be books. As a matter of fact, I think it's part of the requirements of a training center that there should be a library. I don't know, maybe administrator can...
I'm not aware of any policy that requires exactly that these kinds of books should be made available sa library ng training institutions natin. But I believe it's really advisable for our training institutions to have copies of these books. Ngayon, kung ang question mo is how to get them, yun ba yun? Or is it a requirement?
Kasi po, it's masyado siyang mahal yung mga IMO books, publications, instruments. They are very expensive. Kung tayo mga Pilipino, ang dami-dami natin, gusto namin magbasa, sa barko pa lang namin mababasa yun dahil available talaga sa barko yun. Required sa barko na magkaroon individual. Every ship has its own updated books and publications. Pero sa mga training centers, I don't think so.
Anyway, we will check now. But we'll get back to you after the forum.
Thank you so much, sir. Allow me to read a statement from Ms. Doris Magsaysay-Ho on the corruption issue raised by Engineer Nelson. According to Ms. Ho, I think Marina leadership should be competitively compensated and be permanent appointments. So there is institution building on one hand and accountability on the other. In other countries, for example, in Indonesia and South Africa, the presidential appointments are only the top secretary, and all the rest are permanent positions. Do we have any other questions from our audience? From our private sectors? Yes, sir. I see hands at the back.
Good morning. I'm Eric Arevalo from Buhay Marino Diario. I'd like to address my question to Honorable Administrator. Sir, during the PAM-TCA General Assembly, Chief Engineer Fred Habok admitted that there is a looming problem with the administration in as far as the issuance of STCW Circular 2018-02. Is STCW office doing its rectification?
Anyway, nandito si Admiral Bingson.
Thank you for that question. Actually, we review, I had with with the administrator during our conference at PAM PCI. And one of the questions there is the issuance of that certain circular, 2018-02. We are now on the process of reviewing that. And we found some, we have to rectify the issuance of that again. Because procedural, it is the administration that will make the standard, not the training institution that will make the standard. So there are 37 programs as of now for STCW. 4 has been issued already. Another 30, the rest will be issued by the administration. So that will be our direction for that matter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your question. I see one hand at the back. Please proceed in front and mention to whom you're going to address your question.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Philip from the Travel and International Maritime e-magazine. Sir, there were several related in terms of training that are already available online. My question is, are these being recognized by our Marina? I would like to address it to administrator because this training program online, most of them are better than what we have on the local training centers. Is this acceptable to us?
If you will note, this is not the only case that we have this kind of training programs being offered through the internet or through distance learning. But as far as Marina is concerned, we have yet to come up with a policy regarding this. But for now, what we can say is we stick by with yung existing training programs natin and training institutions offering these programs. So we will have to review this in light of yung technological developments natin. Clearly, this is something that we could look into the future. No?
Yes, sir. Pero it's been going for the last several years, more particularly on the European trainings po. As well as if we have to consider yung training na binibigay ng India to their seafarers online. And there were also several books in terms of maritime that are also available online, which every time po makikita ko, they seems to be far off better than what we have here in the country in terms of their curriculum and curricula. So I think the agency has to look into this because they will greatly help our seafarers, especially po yung mga on board. Kasi they don't have much time anymore for their family pag bumabalik sila because they still have to undergo training. Instead of, actually, as a seafarers, kung ako yun, sa bakasyon ko, I'd like to spend it with my family. But instead, nauubos sa training. And then, what are the standard naman po na ini-implement natin tungkol sa mga training? Most of them are paulit-ulit daw po. I don't know if we can do something about the academic side of it or your actual training. Kasi palagi daw pong inuulit eh. Every time bababa sila. Paano po kaya natin masusolusyonan to? For them not to waste their time attending the training, instead they will be attending to their family. Kasi matagal silang nawala. The quality time that the family requires from them, being a father or a mother on board, is dapat na-spend na po. Paano po ba yun? Wala po ba tayong tinitingnan na isang standard lang?
Yes.
Kamukha po namin sa mechanical engineering, any school na kumuha kami ng mechanical engineering, mechanical pa rin kami. But sa seafarers, parang hindi eh.
If I may answer the question.
Yes, sir.
First, let's go back dun sa sinasabi niyong online training
Yes, sir.
programs being offered. No? Definitely, sabi nga sa inyo, we will have to study this. But of course, when you talk about online training programs, you have to look into these entities offering this online training. You have to check on their background. You have to check on the integrity of the system, the type of education that they're offering. Hindi naman basta-basta porket nakita natin na available ito online, this is something that we will readily accept. We will have to assess, evaluate itong training program na ito to see if indeed they satisfy the standards of qualification, competency that are required as far as the STCW is concerned. But I assure you, sabi nga sa inyo, you have said that this has been ongoing for a long time already.
Yes, sir.
But now that you have brought this to our attention, then we will look into it. Now, on the part of yung sinasabi niyong repetitive training, I understand the concern, the plight of our seafarers who have to, as much as possible, spend more quality time with their family while on shore.
Yes, sir.
There is a reason why training has to be repetitive. Hindi ko naman sinasabing training needs to be repetitive, pero may reason yan eh. I'm reminded of yung speech kanina, yung talk ni Ambassador Salinas, sabi niya, sa training natin merong skills, may education, and the thing that binds them together is attitude and values. So, I think this is where the attitude and values comes in. Parang ano rin yan naalala ko para ding mga men in service, men in uniform din ng ating mga seafarers, that it is part of it is part and parcel of the deployment. When you accepted the tasks or the job of the profession of seafaring, it comes with the understanding that you have to endure and entail certain sacrifices. Yun na lang nga nasa laot ka, sakripisyo na yun eh. Pero sabi ko, we do not have to take also for granted yung value ng training. Kung kinakailangan mag-train, kinakailangan yun, it is because you have to develop yung proficiency. You have to be current in everything that you do. Pag hindi ka nag-training kasi, ang tendency niyan, yung currency mo about yung mga procedures, about yung mga drills, you have to understand that it is not only learning the theoretical part of yung seafaring. May mga drills yan that have to be undertaken repetitively for you to gain yung sinasabi nating parang muscle memory na to the point of being instinctive na yung reaction mo when it comes to emergencies. So, anyway, we will look into yung mga training programs natin and see how we can have this adjusted or further improved for us to be able to take into consideration yung sinasabi mong plight ng ating mga seafarers, yung sacrifices. We are one with our seafarers. I am coming from the military. I coming from the military. Know of yung sacrifices, of the sacrifice that comes with yung being separated with the family. Naintindihan ko yun. And we recognize yung contribution ng ating mga seafarers, and I assure you that we will do everything to make sure that yung condition ng seafarers natin are improved.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Again, I will answer that question regarding the repetitive training. Yung repetitive training ay dahil yan sa mga commissioners. Mga commissioner sa manning agency na pinapaulit nila yung kanilang mga crew sa pagpakuha ng training kasi may komisyon sila. May 20% na rebate. Kaya pinapaulit nila, kunin niyo ito ulit. Ito namang marino natin, hindi nila alam. But there are refresher course. Ito masabi ko sa inyo. Halimbawa, sa basic training. Sa basic training, kailangan babalikan mo yung survival at sea. Why? Hindi tayo napapractice ng survival at sea. Walang kapitan na nasa matinong isip, pag-iisip niya na palalanguyin ka sa dagat habang naglalayag ang barko o kahit sa puerto. At saka isa pa, firefighting in an enclosed space. Kailangan may refresher yan every 5 years. Pero yung pinaulit-ulit kayo, hindi yan totoo na pinaulit-ulit kayo. Nasa IMO STCW Convention yan. Isipin ninyo na nag-umpisa yan sa 1978, 1995, at May 2010. Sa 2010 amendments, mayroong mga binago. Oh. Pero kung nakuha nyo na yan, hindi nyo na kailangang ulitin. Ang problema lang, napalitan ng pangalan at pinagkukuha kayo ulit ng mga commissioner kasi meron silang rebate.
Thank you so much for your thoughts, Engineer Ramirez. Another question from our
Gusto ata nila mag-react. Magre-react ba kayo, magki-question?
question. Okay, sir, please say your name and address your questions.
Good morning. I am Joe Cato from the Filipino Association for Mariners Employment. Earlier this year, we received MC from Marinas stating that all the seafarers that have received a decision for permanent and total disability, that the manning agents file this to Marina. And I believe it will be used to cancel the seaman's book. I'd like to ask anybody from Marina if the people on stage could not answer it, any of the staff here. We'd like to know what's the status. Has there been any submission of such occasions? I'm saying this question because as we have had experiences that there are some seafarers who have already received total and permanent disability and yet are still able to board overseas vessels. And sometimes they would go back to the same illnesses and refile it. And this is one concern which our ship owners are complaining about. So
Yung
just
legal
an
natin,
update,
si
sir.
Atty. Banyares.
Good morning, sir. Insofar as your question, from the legal service, we received one complaint from a crewing manning agency. There was one complaint, or not a complaint, but an information that a seafarer has already been paid by the company because of a claim. And the manning agency was asking that this particular seafarer be included, or the seaman's book be canceled. So what we did at the legal service is we put the name of the seafarer in the watch list of our database, sir. And so that in the future, when he renews his seaman's book, that can never be renewed again because of the certificate that he's not anymore competent to be a seafarer because of the medical findings. Hindi pa po namin kinakancel. There should be a due process for it. In fact, sinoma na po namin seafarer. We cannot just cancel it unilaterally without sending notice to the seafarer. But in the meantime, the name of that seafarer is already in the watch list of our database.
Thank you so much, Attorney Bong.
I can attest to what Mr. Cato has said because I arbitrated one case and the guy has just been given or was just awarded for total disability. After a few months, he went on board again, and after a few months, he disembarked and filed another total disability claims. I told the two arbitrators that I had, because we were three. There are three arbitrators in the case in CMB. I told them, how can we accept this case? The guy has just been awarded total disability. Alam mo anong sinabi ng dalawa? Ibang barko naman to. I told them, how many times can a person be totally disabled? Sana magalan. We will entertain this case. Grabe ang corruption dyan sa NCMB at saka NLRC. Sa NLRC noong araw, 10,000 lang ang arbiters. Sa commissioner, 50,000. Ngayon, dumating yung ibang mga abogado, mga ambulance chasers, ang arbiter doon, 100,000. Ang commissioner, 300,000 na. At dito sa NCMB, pataasan ng presyo. Kasi ang ambulance chasers, kung mayroong isang marino na nasa hospital, 3 abogado kaagad nalapit sa kanya, mag-o-offer ng cash advance. Yan, dapat ninyo malaman yan. Pataasan sila ng cash advance. Saan ka makakita ng abogado ang bibigay ng cash advance? Dito lang sa ating profesyon. Why? Because it is very lucrative and they know that they will win in their cases that they file.
Thank you so much, Engineer Ramirez. Do we have additional question from the media, right? So this will be our last question to end. Another question from Sir Eloy. So the question from Sir Eloy will be the last for our open. Another one?
Okay, so we have 3 questions left for our open forum. Yes.
Hi, I'm Mela from PTV. This question is for Sir Guerrero. Since we are talking about maritime safety, alam naman natin, sir, na may reports na may mga kasamang nadukot na Pilipino sa Nigeria. Do we have any confirmed information about this? At sa mga ganitong pagkakataon, ano po ba ang action na ginagawa ng Marina? Thank you, sir.
You have to understand that this incident happened in a foreign registered vessel. Mga Pilipino, may mga Pilipinong na involved. We have their names, but we'd rather that the DFA make the announcements kasi ayaw naming i-preempt kung ano man yung announcement ng agency concerned. We confirmed that there are Filipinos that were kidnapped, and as I've said, Marina is closely coordinating with the flag state for us to be able to render the necessary assistance that we can provide sa ating mga seafarers doon. There are other Filipino seafarers though that were not among those that were kidnapped, and we are closely coordinating with the DFA to assess their conditions.
Thank you so much, sir.
Next question, ma'am.
Carmela from Manila Times and Fast Maritime. From Marina, sir, I'd like to ask about the news that came out today from Manila Times about the ship-to-ship transfer that has been reported, wherein North Korea has been evading the UN sanction and openly evades the embargo by UN and does this practice, ship-to-ship transfer in open waters. And this involves several seafarers. Have you heard of this sort of, considering that this actually could pose a threat to safety of seafarers that is involved in such doing?
I am aware that these situations, incidents happen, but this is the first time that I've heard about that particular incident. But nonetheless, we in Marina are also closely coordinating with the National Coast Watch Council, composed of several agencies of government that have the function of overseeing yung ating not only maritime industry but also in security concerns in the marine environment.
And final question from Sir Eloy.
To Angler representative, Captain Enrile. Sir, elections is just around the corner. How optimistic, or what are the chances of legislating the SOLAS and MARPOL bill and the bill creating the one-class society, sir?
Well, as you know, Congress is busy with the budget hearings. So once the budget hearings are terminated, Congressman Manalo will push through with the passing of that bill in Congress. As I've mentioned earlier in my speech, that this is being prioritized by Angla Party List Representative Manalo. So hopefully, mapasa natin to before the end of the 17th Congress. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much to all our guest speakers and to our participants for the productive exchange of information here at the Maritime Safety Forum 2018. At this point, I would like to request Administrator Guerrero and Yusek Hudan to lead the awarding of our flag of appreciations to our guest speakers. Allow me to read the content of our flags of appreciation. Republic of the Philippines Department of Transportation Maritime Industry Authority presents this flag of appreciation to the name of our guest speakers in grateful recognition of distinguished and invaluable service as resource speaker during the Maritime Safety Forum 2018, given this 25th day of September 2018 at the Midas Hotel, Pasay City. Awarding this certificate or flag of appreciation to Honorable Jesolito Manalo, represented by Captain Enrile. Flag of appreciation to President and CEO of Magsaysay Maritime Corporation, Ms. Doris Magsaysay Ho. Flag of appreciation to Honorable Carlos Salinas, IMO Ambassador for Maritime. And finally, a flag of appreciation to our Vice Admiral Narciso Vingson Jr., the OIC Executive Director of the STCW Office. Photo opportunity with our VIPs, Yusek Hudan, and with Administrator Guerrero. So that ends our Maritime Safety Forum 2018. Thank you so much for your contribution and for participating in our exchange of discussion. So at this moment, yes, we would like to request everyone to watch the audiovisual presentation that we prepared. So we will give you an idea about what is happening at the Marina today. By virtue of Presidential Decree number 474, the Maritime Industry Again, we would like to request everyone to please watch the audiovisual presentation that we prepared specifically on what is happening at the Maritime Industry Authority today under the Duterte administration. By virtue of Presidential Decree number 474, the Maritime Industry Authority or the MARINA was founded on June 1, 1974 as the single maritime administration in the Philippines that envisioned to transform the Philippines into a major maritime nation. Through the regulation, promotion, and the development of the overseas and domestic shipping services, the shipbuilding and ship repair initiatives, as well as the trainings and welfare of the Filipino seafarers. In its early years, the Marina encountered issues that challenged the performance of the agency relative to the accomplishment of its mission. For one, although the Philippines is considered as the fourth largest shipbuilder in the world, its shipyards are owned by foreign companies such as Chineshi Shipyard in Cebu, Hanjin in Subic, and Keppel Shipyard in Batangas. The customary bureaucracy in the processing of papers for the spare parts coming from abroad also discouraged foreign ship owners to dry dock their vessels in the Philippines. The more than 800 Philippine registered vessels way back in 1988 dropped down to approximately 100 in 2017. To make the situation worse, seafarers queued for long hours and even slept on pavements just so they could process their seamen's books that were issued 4 to 8 weeks after the application. Fast forward to 2018. President Rodrigo Duterte decided to appoint a retired Armed Forces General to lead the Marina because of these three factors: competency, honesty, and integrity. In his first days in the office, Administrator Ray Leonardo Guerrero studied the structure of the Marina to understand the needs and issues of the maritime stakeholders.
He also listened to the proposals of the Marina Advisory Council and implemented necessary changes to steer the Philippine maritime industry. Most importantly, Administrator Guerrero crafted the Marina's 14-point agenda for 2018 as a short-term solution to the pressing problems facing the organization. So what is happening at the Marina today? Delays in the issuance of the Seamen's Book are now being reduced to none. One of the factors behind this positive change was the additional processing center established at the Mall of Asia and several others in the succeeding months. SM Prime Holdings Incorporated is with the Marina in this endeavor. The computerization and automation of the Marina processes is also on top of the 14-point agenda of the Marina this year. To jumpstart its implementation, the Seamen's Book's online appointment system is launched to make the entire process more convenient and more efficient to our Filipino seafarers. Moreover, the Marina reiterated its serious commitment to comply with the audit requirements of the European Maritime Safety Agency or the EMSA to further improve the maritime education and trainings offered to Filipino seafarers. The Marina is also working double time to partner with the Japan International Cooperation Agency or JICA, specifically in the construction of the Philippines' first ever maritime industrial hub. Wooden hulled motor bangkas out, steel, aluminum, and fiber reinforced plastic boats in. The Marina jump-started its domestic ship modernization program through the conduct of awareness-raising campaigns to inform, educate, and encourage stakeholders to participate in the implementation of the modernization program. These initiatives are just part of the comprehensive 10-year Maritime Industry Development Program, or the MIDP, that will guide the Marina in ensuring that it is able to efficiently transform the Philippine maritime industry. To date, the Marina is now finalizing the MIDP to ensure that the agency will be able to efficiently steer the Philippine maritime industry towards innovation and development. The Marina is also in the path of exercising good governance in service to the nation. To make this possible, the agency is now working into the proposal of an organizational structure, speeding up the filing of vacant plantilla positions, finding ways to streamline business processes, participate in meaningful international meetings relative to the Marina's mandate, all this while reviving the agency's performance governance system, or the PGS, a system that guides the overall performance of the Marina as the single maritime administration. Most importantly, the Marina is now validating the implementation of the Strategic Performance and Management System, or the SPMS, that will ensure that all Marina personnel are effectively working towards commendable public service. The Marina today is just getting started. With the tireless efforts of the personnel, fruitful collaborations with partner organizations, and the continued quality service offered by Filipino seafarers to the world, nothing will ever be impossible. Because at the Marina, positive change is at the forefront of public service.
On behalf of the Marina, we would also like to take advantage of this opportunity to formally launch the different competitions that we will have in celebration of our 45th anniversary on June 2019. To give us details on these competitions, I would like to call on stage Jasper Jumpak of the Marina Strategic Communication Service.
Good noon, everyone. Today's Maritime Safety Forum is actually divided into two parts: the serious matter of great consequence to the maritime industry and the fun part. So I'm glad to launch the 4 contests of the Maritime Industry Authority, which will inject fun and lightheartedness to our forum and towards the run-up to Marina's 45th anniversary in June 2019. As we observe the National Maritime Awareness Month, this September, and in the run-up towards the 45th anniversary of the Maritime Industry Authority, MARINA has lined up 4 different contests to popularize the maritime industry and engage the Philippine general public. Over 100,000 pesos of cash prizes is in store for all of us. All of you, Filipino residents in the Philippines aged 18 and above, are eligible to join. Today we are happy to introduce the commencement of these contests. The first one is the photo contest of MARINA. The photo contest is open to all of you, and we would like to ask our general public to join us and take part in this competition. Why? Because we would like the most visually appealing photograph capturing either the beauty of the maritime industry, the gains of the industry, the safety measures of the ships, or any other facet of the Philippine maritime industry to be captured in a photograph, which can be sent to us starting today through our social media accounts as well as to our office in UN Avenue. So what are at stake for this contest? The first prize will receive a plaque and 10,000 pesos. The second prize will receive 7,500 pesos. And the third placer will receive 5,000 pesos. The deadline will be on May 1st, 2019, and the awarding ceremony will be on the celebration of the 45th anniversary of MARINA on the 1st of June, 2019. The second contest is the logo design, which should capture the 45th anniversary of MARINA. So we would like to also again engage the general public to join us in coming up with a logo for our 45th anniversary. 40% of the criteria will be on aesthetic quality, 30% will be on relevance to the theme, and 30% originality. The first prize will get 10,000 pesos, the second prize 7,500 pesos, and the third prize 5,000 pesos. The deadline will be on December 31st, 2018, as the winning logo design will be used by MARINA starting January 1st, 2019. The third contest, which is again open to all of us, is the slogan writing competition. It will open today, and the deadline is set on the 1st of March 2019. The criteria will be 40% relevance to the theme, 20% clarity of message, 15% on creativity, 15% on originality, and 10% social media impact, as we will be uploading our logos and all the other entries to our other contests online. The first prize will get 10,000 pesos, the second prize will get 7,500 pesos, and the third placer will get 5,000 pesos. And finally, our contest will have a feature on the most inspiring stories of our seafarers. Why is that so? The Philippine maritime industry is a bright spot in the Philippine economy because it ranked among the top 10 drivers of our economy, bringing in billions of pesos in foreign remittances through our seafarers worldwide. The Filipino seafarers have been hailed in 2010 by the International Maritime Organization as the unsung heroes of an unsung industry, comprising 25% of the total mariners worldwide. The biggest single nationality block in the global shipping industry. And what this contest would like to emphasize is to inspire the Filipinos and our country with the best inspiring stories among our seafarers. So what should they do? First, any of you or the seafarers can send to us a 5-minute story of their lives or a story of a seafarer that you know of. What is the criteria for our inspiring story contest? 20% will be adherence to the theme, 30% level of inspiration, 20% visual impact, 15% technical superiority, and 15% will be popularity by the number of likes and shares through our social media accounts. The inspiring story will be done through a video making format. So all the inspiring stories must be done through a video that has to be uploaded to our Facebook account at DOTR Marina PH. And we will have three winners for the Inspiring Stories contest. The first one will take home 20,000 pesos in cash. The second prize, 15,000 pesos, and the third prize, 10,000 pesos. The deadline for submission will be on May 1st, 2019, and will be awarded on the Day of the Seafarers on June 25, 2019. All the details of our contest are already uploaded on our social media accounts, especially our Facebook official page. So please visit our official page on the Facebook and on Instagram to know more about the details of our 4 contests. And with that, we officially open the 4 Marina contests for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jasper. And we encourage the public to participate on our competitions. And with your little ways, you can contribute to become part of the 45th anniversary of the Maritime Industry Authority next year. So at this moment, we will be having our closing remarks to be delivered by the Undersecretary for Maritime of the Department of Transportation. Let us all welcome on stage. Let's give him a warm of applause. Yusek Felipe Huda.
Magandang tanghali po sa inyong lahat. Kaya ako po sinabing magandang tanghali dahil gutom na po ang ating mga participants sa tanghali na. Anyway, I am really honored when I saw not my name in the program, but when I saw Ambassador Salinas and my good friend Doris Ho Magsaysay, and of course Captain Enrile to be part of this program. Congressman Manalo, unfortunately, was not able to come. The main reason for all of this is, number one, today, as you will note, our industry has a lot of sectors. But it is the coordination that counts a lot. Not only in terms of seafarers and education, not only in terms of ship operation, manning, shipbuilding, ship agency, all of these sort of things of the industry. There is one, that aspect that Marina has done today. Launching a simple discussion on this respect about our industry. So with that, I will not make my closing remarks longer because everybody is hungry already. But let me just say, maraming salamat po sa ating mga speaker. Let's give them a big, big hand. Secondly, perhaps I'd like to tell you
that the administration of MARINA today is really under a very, very efficient and effective leadership of a guy who has not been in the industry and yet performing very well. Let's give a big hand to our Administrator, General Guerrero. Okay, and finally, perhaps I'd like to salute the improvements done in MARINA headed by Administrator Guerrero and to all the members of the MARINA organization. Number one, there's been an improvement insofar as the processes of procedures within MARINA is concerned. Seafarers, applications, and so on. There's also a very big improvement, and I would say hopefully no more corruption, because this is something that we need in any organization, whether it's government or not, in private sector, we don't need corruption. In fact, as in the discussion, kaninang question and answer, if you have any problem, because of technology, it is easy to get or to give the information at magsumbong. You don't have to go physically and state your name, and therefore, this will be acted upon by MARINA. And lastly, not only to thank everyone for all their concerns for the industry, I'd like to emphasize one thing. Maritime Safety Forum. Bakit po yan ang naka-emphasize? When I first entered as the Undersecretary for Maritime Sector, somebody asked me, I don't have to tell you them because mga sikat na mga newspapermen. Ano ba ang polisiya na aking dadalhin sa industry? I said, I have 3 policy directions. At tandaan po ninyo ito. Very simple, but very, very good. I said, number 1 policy, safety. Number 2 policy, safety. And number 3 policy, safety. So it is safety, safety, and safety because that is the nature of our maritime industry. Safety means good and qualified seafarers, very good vessels, and therefore implementation of our safety operations in the middle of the sea. And this is contributed not only by the people on board, but also the government agencies on land, but also the responsibility of ship owners themselves. So with that, I would like to thank you for this participation. I'd like to congratulate everyone. Good day. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat po sa iyong mensahe, Yusek Felipe Hudan ng Department of Transportation. At sa ating lahat po na nandirito ngayon sa ating Maritime Safety Forum, sama-sama po tayo sa pagtataguyod ng isang ligtas at maunlad na paglalayag tungo sa isang bansang matatag. Ako po si Joy Dayan Gumatay at maraming salamat po sa ating kontribusyon para maging produktibo ang ating diskusyon ngayong araw. Mabuhay po tayong lahat at isang produktibong araw po para sa atin.